Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based in the United Kingdom. And today I'm working with sparkling snowflakes, as you can see here. And this is a stamp set in the new September to December catalogue. And you can buy it in a bundle with this lovely tag topper punch, this snowflake tag topper. As with all punches, it obviously folds flat for storage. And what I really want to do is just show that you don't have to just make tags with this. So these snowflakes, I know we've had snowflakes before, but these are actually layered, so you get almost like a 3D effect. Hopefully you can see that on there. So you get this lovely outline layer as well. And we're making a cute little treat box. As I promised, I'm going to hopefully do a project a week running up to the end of November to show you how you can use this. And you'll see I've used the snowflake tag topper on the front there. So the idea is that this is a little table favour or a gift box. To give you an idea of size, you can see fits 4 Lindor balls. I haven't got any of those pretty blue coconutty ones, which would have obviously gone perfectly with the colours, but you know, not quite. And we've got a little angled side, and we've stamped on the side there as well. Then I've used iridescent rhinestones on the top there, just to add that, make the season sparkle, because I thought that was kind of fitting. So that's what we're making. I have done the measurements so that you can get 2 out of a sheet of A4, and I've also made a slightly smaller version that you can get 2 out of a sheet of US A4, which I know is shorter. So this one is 2 out of international that I'll do, but I'll put all the measurements in the description box and or on my blog as well, so you can go there. And if you enjoy my projects, please hit the subscribe button, then you'll be notified when I send out some more projects on my YouTube. So you'll find subscribe if you go down here, just in the little corner down below the video, you'll find a subscribe button. So what are we going to do? Let's start off with our stamping then. So the stamping is really easy. I've just got a small piece of basic white for the top and another piece for the front. This is using Misty Moonlight and Night of Navy. I like blues at Christmas, but I thought I'd go a little bit brighter with Balmy Blue and Azure Afternoon. So not a colour I usually use, either of those I use very much, because I find them, they're quite what I would say a cold blue, but I think they're therefore perfect for what we want to do today. So this piece of card is 7.5 by 5 centimetres, she says. Yes, 7.5 by 5 centimetres, and this piece is 7.5, a little bit more actually, because I need to trim that, 7.5 by 2 centimetres. So I'm just going to literally just snip that. Let's make sure. Yes, now it's pretty much 7.5. Okay. And they say just our ordinary basic white that I've used here. And because I'm going to be stamping off on the side, just so that you can see it more easily, I'm just going to pop a scrap of basic white in there. So this is to show you how to get those layered snowflakes. So I'm going to start off with my sentiment in the middle. I'm going to use my Azure Afternoon. And I'm just going to sort of square that up. And just pop that in the middle there. And then I'm going to crack on with so I'm going to use my darker colour for the detail. So that's going to be my Azure Afternoon. I've just kind of put those hugging the side there. Then I'm using one of the larger ones. I think this is the largest of the snowflakes. So I'm going to pop that there, just to create a little border. And then on the front there, I might as well just use this one as I've got it out. And I'm just kind of putting it in slightly different positions as well. Okay, so that's my Azure Afternoon. So now I'm going to use my Balmy Blue. So I've got my larger one. And to line this up, just hover, and I find if I kind of line up 3 of the kind of prongs, then you can, I'm Might even stamp that off actually. This one's a little bit more tricky bit because you haven't got as much space, but I'll show you on the other one as well. Oh yes, I prefer that actually. Okay, so that one I haven't lined up very well at all, but it's not going to matter. So there we go. So all you do is line up the outline over that detail and stamp, and do the same again with this top one. I'm going to do the same with this lighter one, just like so. And say just colours those in, and you just have to play around depending on how inky your ink pads are, whether you need to stamp off as I needed to there. But there we go. Okay, I think that one is a little bit dark, so I'm actually going to just grab a separate little strip of basic white and redo that piece. So having trimmed it down, so let's do it down to 7.5, and that I think is by 2. Okay. Right, so we'll just, in fact, put the small one out. And there's my phone. Should have switched that on silent, shouldn't I? At least it didn't ring though. There we go. So just the same again. So I'm just lining those up over the top. And I think that gives a really pretty frosty kind of effect. There we go. Right, that's better. And the smaller one works better on there as well. So there we go. Okay, so having done our stamping, I can pop my ink pads away. And let's get on with our scoring. So, in terms of layers, I've got some balmy blue for layers. So this one, while I'm doing my scoring, we can get that going. So this is just slightly bigger. So this is our, where's my measurements? There we go. So this is my 8 by 2.5 centimetres for the front. This is a layer for the front, 8 by 2.5. And then the layer for the top is 8 by 5.5. Now I've cut an extra bit of card there because I thought it would be quite nice to have something on the inside, so I'll see how it looks, which you could always stamp or you could just create a little extra. So let's do our scoring. So if you take a piece of cardstock, it's 21 centimetres by 14.5, and on the short edge you're just going to score at 3 centimetres or 1.25 inches. Okay. If you're working in metric, 8.25 by 5 7/8, and if you're working in US cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5. So having scored at 3 centimetres on that short edge, we are now going to score on the long edge at 3 centimetres, 9 centimetres, 12 centimetres, and 18. So that's 1.25, 3.5, 4 3/4, and 7 inches. That's for international A4. If you're working in US and doing it half size, it's 1.25, 3 5/8, 4 7/8, and 7.25. Okay, and it's as simple as that. That is all your scoring that is done. And now we want to do our punching. So it doesn't matter which end you actually do it on, because you're just going to slide that in, and all I'm doing is I'm just centering that on those 2 score lines. So my 2 score lines just come to the edge, and we're just going to press that down. As simple as that. bring your trimmer back in, line that edge of that punch up so it's just under 2 centimetres, and you're going to cut from the edge of the punch down to the card. Lift it up, do the same at the top, and you'll feel where it is, like so. So you're going to end up with a piece like that. Having done that, the rest is just some simple cutting. You're going to cut straight up on that. Oh no, I'm going to burnish my folds first while they're a single piece. So box, really good burnishing, particularly with this one, because you've only got that narrow score at the end. So really good burnish. Just be careful that you don't catch the snowflake. It is a little bit more delicate than the main edge, obviously. Right. And then we're going to cut straight up the sides of those long pieces and notch out the tab in between, like so. We're going to cut straight up again here, and again notch. But do keep this corner tab because you will need that on the front. So I'm just cutting straight again, and just notch out the tab, straight, and notch it out. And then the last one exactly the same. So you'll have a piece that looks like that at the end of it. While it's flat, we're going to add our layers on. So on the edge, which is closest to the punched section, you can add your top piece. Then on the opposite end, which is the sort of front edge, you can pop our front layer. And then what you need to do is grab a pencil or a pen, an erasable pen, and I'm just going to mark on this edge, and say you don't have to, but I'm just going to mark at 2 centimetres on the corner to get that little edge to kind of continue the effect of the punch. Now I don't draw across those, just fold that tab out of the way so you don't cut into it. I'm just going to cut diagonally across there. Do the same on the other side, and then just get rid of those marks. And then I'm just going to stamp, and you can do the 2-step stamping if you want to, or you can just stamp direct. And all I'm doing is just making sure I don't come onto the top edge. So just stamp like so. Because it doesn't matter if it goes onto this tab at the side, because that's going to be glued out of the way. Now you're going to want some fairly strong glue to do this. If you've got the time, then use your Tombow. Otherwise, I would suggest you use your Seal Plus, but you do need to make sure that the glue is right up to the edge of that crease. So I'm just coming in to the edge of that tab, and again a little bit further along. This one right on the edge, I want to make sure that's glued down really well. See, I'm just coming in. So I say I'm using Seal Plus here. And because it's got the little tabs, when you've finished it, you just lift it, and that breaks the kind of seal bit. So fold your tab in and fold the front up. Do the same on the other side, like so. Then we're going to do our back tabs. Give that a really good squeeze. And then for the front, I'm going to fold that in first. Nice and snug, and then press my tab down. So you want a nice snug finish, so just press that down. And then all that remains is for us to add a couple of sparkles to the front. I've got some left over from another project here. So all I'm going to do is use my take your pick. Just use that to add our sparkles to the top of our box. And you'll see they just sit beautifully into the side there. And to make sure those are burnished and those don't pop open, if you just bring your bone folder in on the side there and just burnish those down, you're not going to have any problems. And there we have our pretty little table favour, ready to add some little treats. Or obviously this would be a perfect one with the sentiment to pop some jewellery in. You know, make the season sparkle, give someone a pretty pair of earrings or a bracelet maybe. And there we have it. So, Azure Afternoon and Balmy Blue I think is probably my favourite, but let me know. We've got some Night of Navy and Misty Moonlight too. And all of them made with sparkling snowflakes. And if you'd like to purchase anything, pop along to Stampin' Up and check out Choose Me as Your Demonstrator. Search for Heidi Smith, and I'd really appreciate it if you allowed me to contact you so I can send you a thank you gift. Thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, it all helps. And thanks for watching. Bye now.